You weren't born disconnected. You weren't born confused, anxious, or broken. You came here with a memory, a song, a unique frequency. But somewhere along the way, that signal was interrupted, not by accident, but by design. This is what we call the soul trap. Not a prison of metal and chains, but a subtle, powerful web of beliefs, patterns, systems, and energies, all designed to pull you away from your essence. Today I want to talk a little bit about soul traps and energies and forces that pull you away from yourself, and how to protect yourself from that, and how to turn back into you and embrace sovereignty. So let's begin with what is soul, because we hear about the soul, we talk about the soul, but what is it? Well, the soul is not an idea, it's not an emotion, it's not even your personality, obviously. The soul is your eternal intelligence. It is the part of you that exists beyond time, beyond thought, beyond story. It is the unique frequency you carry across lifetimes, the bridge between your human self and higher consciousness or higher self. It's the core witness of your life, holding all memory without judgment. In other words, you could call it awareness that holds memories, and more you tap into it, more you can remember. It is the source of your deepest desires, not surface wants like something someone else may inspire you to have, like a car or a house or something like that, but rather a soul calling. So more you tap into your soul, more you become aware of your soul calling, like what is really your path. And it's the part of you that always knows what's real, even when you forget. The soul speaks in stillness, and it's a patient part of you that waits you, actually, because you, as your ego, your personality, you have a free will, and your soul is not interfering with your free will. Soul awaits until you freely decide to tap into your soul and to let your soul guide you, which sounds interesting because it sounds like separation between soul and you as a personality. But actually it's all intertwined, all interconnected. But we kind of need to gain this awareness of separation from ego so we can become aware of the soul. And usually it happens in quietness, or often we also experience it when we have fun or when we have incredible joy, not because we take certain substances, but because we do something that just genuinely puts us into a happy state, like enjoying in nature or enjoying in certain activity or listening a certain song. It connects us with the soul, and more we gain awareness around this feeling, more we become aware of who we truly are. And then we just start identifying what resonates, what speaks to this part of us, and that's how we start waking up. So as I said, the soul speaks in stillness, in resonance, in felt truth. It's not loud, but it's unmistakable. You felt it before, in moments of awe, of real connection, of creative flow, of surrender. That's your soul saying, here I am, still here. But what is the soul trap then? Well, the soul trap is not a myth. It's not just some external conspiracy. It is a system of disconnection, a multidimensional architecture designed to pull you away from your soul. It operates across 4 main levels. The first one is psychological soul trap. The belief that you must earn your worth, or that you have to suffer to grow, or that joy, peace, and rest are rewards, not birthrights. You live in performance mode, or constantly fixing, improving, or proving yourself to someone. It never arrives, and it's always waiting. This is a psychological side of the soul trap. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't suffer or that you shouldn't have a belief that you must earn your worth or any of that. But you need to be aware of it when it becomes kinda infinite, like when there's infinite amount of suffering and still no progress, or when you're constantly trying to earn a worth and still feel unworthy. That's when you know that you've fallen into a trap of psychological soul trap. Now, suffering could be a great activation, or believing that you must earn your worth could also be a great activation, because it could wake you up to recognize that you will do something that makes you feel alive, and maybe you would start doing it with a purpose of proving your worth, but eventually it would take you into such an incredible joy that you would recognize that you already feel worthy just because you can do it, or just because you are being yourself and you wake up to your soul. The point is that you gain awareness when something becomes kinda infinite and it's not fulfilling. That's when you know that you've fallen into a soul trap. And later I want to talk about this in more detail. The second soul trap is emotional one. Like all trauma loops you can't escape. Guilt for outgrowing people or systems. Like how many times you may feel you've outgrown something, but you have guilt leaving it or moving away from it. Or fear of letting go of suffering because it's become your identity. Your nervous system becomes addicted to struggle because the chemistry you experience in those experiences becomes something you get so used to it that you kinda don't want to live without it. You confuse emotional intensity with truth. And when you start noticing that, that's when you are in emotional soul trap. Later I will talk about what to do with this. And the third soul trap is mental one. When overthinking every choice, living in constant analyzing, science and logic, waiting for permission from maybe astrology, readings, algorithms, anything external. Waiting that someone will say to you, hey, this is your time now. You're now ready. Waiting for permission, right? You stop trusting your own knowing when you're depending on something outside of you. And you outsource your guidance. That's when you've got yourself into a mental soul trap. That's when your soul starts really hoping that you will wake up and return back to yourself because you already have the guidance you're looking for outside of you. You don't need to analyze everything because deep inside you already know what's right. You don't need to constantly look for science because deep inside you already know. And logic is a great tool, but many times it will fail you because there's the mystical part of you. When we do something spontaneously out of creativity, creativity is not logical, it's spontaneous. And then there's the fourth soul trap, which is energetic one. This is more esoteric layer to it. This is ancient karmic loops that keep you reincarnating, or collective fields of guilt and servitude labeled as light, or spiritual hierarchies that distort unity into spiritual ego. And this is very powerful here because it happens to so many of us. Not all systems are neutral. Some were engineered to keep humanity looping in confusion, waiting, and self-doubt, instead of remembering our sovereignty. Now, how this trap persists? Well, the most dangerous thing about this soul trap is how it masquerades as awakening. It speaks in spiritual language. It says, you chose this pain, or this is your karma, or you're not ready yet, or you must heal before you receive. It turns your awakening into another performance, another role, another loop. You think you're evolving, but you're circling, processing the same patterns over and over again, and always waiting for the next download, always preparing but never embodying. And we all have been there before. I would say this is a process on our spiritual evolution, where at some point we just outgrow it. But sometimes people get stuck there because they don't know they're actually in a soul trap or spiritual trap. And worst of all, you start believing that this is just how life is. Believing that the power must come through exhaustion, or that enlightenment must come through pain. That is not truth. That is programming. So, what are the signs you've drifted from your soul? How can you know you've caught yourself in trap? Well, you feel like you're endlessly seeking but rarely arriving. You crave peace but feel guilty resting. You're more focused on appearing aligned than actually feeling free. You've forgotten what joy feels like in your body, or you constantly question if you're enough or doing it right. Many times it happens to us that we may meditate and we may ask, am I doing it right? I haven't experienced anything. Or we just want to appear aligned in front of others instead of actually feeling free. These are not signs of failure. They're signs of you being misaligned. And your soul is calling you back home, back to yourself. So now I want to talk about how to break free, so you can actually return back into your true nature and live from there, embrace that unique song of yours. Escaping the soul trap doesn't happen through more effort. It begins with remembrance. So this is very interesting because in third dimensional reality, we're used to experiencing success through effort and hard work and strategies and constant planning and to-do lists and so on and so on. But spiritual success, if we call it this way, is actually experienced through remembrance, through allowing, through stillness, through listening, and that activates our presence and creativity. And then more we do creative acts, more we awaken, more we become present, and more we experience a sense of play. And play gives us peace and happiness, and that's freedom. That's when we free ourselves. So the first step you can do to break free from this kind of soul traps is to reclaim your mind. Stop letting fear dress up as logic. Ask yourself, who told me I must earn my peace? This is a powerful question. Because many times when you're afraid of something, you will believe this is a logical explanation. But actually, your heart may have a whole another answer, right? And journey in life is about kind of experimenting with what we feel intuitively, putting it into action, exploring it, and yes, being willing to get hurt with it, because that's how we usually learn. But truly taking ourselves into an adventure where This heart pull, heart calling truly teaches us wisdom. Then the second step is regulate your nervous system. Soul embodiment is impossible in survival mode, and most probably you found that out. So prioritize safety, rest, and slowness. So when I say prioritize safety, I don't mean, live a safe life. I mean, have moments in a day where you feel safe in your body, like a quiet place, no activity, sitting in quietness, and just maybe teaching your body how it feels when you feel safe, how it feels when you're grateful, how it feels when you're happy. Just teaching your body this energy, because you will notice it will relax into the present moment. And that's how you learn to rest. That's how you learn the art of slowness. And that's when your soul actually starts speaking to you. So you stop looking for external science so much. And you stop looking for external guidance too much. You get in touch with your own one. The third thing you can do is to stop seeking permission. Stop waiting for a sign, because you are the sign. What does it mean? Well, as I said, I can tell you whatever. People can tell you whatever, but not necessarily it will be your path. I can share with you my experience or how I came to where I am today. But even if you do everything I've done, not necessarily that you will arrive to realizations I've arrived. But when you go within and you ask yourself for what to do, what you need, what you crave, you will naturally feel pulled towards experiences that will teach you what you need to know. And that's what it means. You are the sign you've been looking for. The fourth thing you can do is exit the karma loop. This may sound challenging, but it's actually not. You can choose, you can decide to choose. It ends with me. That's how simple it is. You don't need to keep proving you've learned. So when you say it ends with me, it means you decide to change patterns. You decide to heal your reactive mechanisms. You decide to heal and change your beliefs around, whatever urges you to be judgmental, to gossip, to force others into something, or to prove something, or to be whatever you may hold within you. When you decide it ends with me, you are exiting karma loop. And that's when you tap into your inner wisdom that starts guiding you. And you will notice synchronistic events will start happening in your life. Not that it will be an easy road. You will need to study. You will need to learn. You will need to practice. You will be exposed to darkest possible experiences sometimes, because that's how you heal, right? In order to learn to swim, you need to go into waters and try to swim, right? And in life, it's the same. If you want to heal a relationship, well, be willing to experience heartbreak sometimes. So you gain awareness around moments when you experience this pain. Oh, I've been abandoned, or oh, that person said that to me, oh, they left me, or whatever. And you notice that you don't need to take it personal. And maybe it's not about you. What about that? And then when your body starts hurting, you sit with that experience. Or when you feel fear or shame, you sit with that experience, that emotional experience. And it's like your soul would give that gentle touch to your body. Hey, you're okay. You're just feeling an emotion. That emotion is not you, and you don't need to be identified with it. That's when you truly start experiencing life from the soul, not from the identity of your body. You see, your soul doesn't need fixing. It needs space. You need to be aware of it. Listen to it. It needs space to be, to speak, to breathe. You don't need to earn your liberation. You need to remember it. So the soul trap ends not when you escape the world, but when you re-enter it awake, aware. You're not here to prove your worth. You're not here to endlessly seek. You're here to embody truth. The world will keep pulling you away, but your soul will always be the anchor, calling you back through intuition, dreams, quiet moments, and sacred pauses you will take for yourself. And so today, my friend, maybe you don't need to do more. Maybe you just need to stop running, to feel, to listen, and to say, I remember who I am, and I'm already free. Type it in the comment section. I remember who I am, and I'm already free. Yeah, you are, my friend. I will leave you here. I hope you found a great value today. And I hope you've enjoyed in today's painting. I'm an artist and I share these messages with you to open your mind, to inspire you creatively, but also open your heart with words and energy. So I hope you've enjoyed, and to anyone who would like to support this work and get a print of maybe today's painting or any other painting I've created, you can go onto AttractPassion.com or the link in the description of this video, and you will find all of my paintings there. So if you would like to support my work, that's how you can support it. Thank you so much for that. And of course, the painting that resonates with you will support you, will give you what you need. Also join us on our Patreon community for more exclusive content, and another way to support this work is to join YouTube membership. Thank you so much for your support. Every single day I'm showing up, giving you updates and guidance so you can stay aligned with your path. Till next time, my friend, one love.